Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the Season 21 exotic armor tuning that is coming with the next season, obviously. I'm not going to talk about every single one, and I'm going to try to stay away from PvE as much as possible because this is a PvP-centered channel for the most part, and I really just wanted to talk about the few exotics for each of the classes that I think are the most important, and just talk about them, the changes, because I think there's a lot of good in here, but there's a lot of bad as well. So without further ado, let's get right on into it. So first exotic I wanted to really talk about was Oath Keepers. I think this is a pretty decent change because it was really annoying seeing hunters just hide behind walls with Lame on Arc. It was just really boring to me. And even Bungie seems to think that. It just resulted in the overly passive playstyles. It was just, like I said, it was just really annoying. I don't like being almost killed instantly from somebody who just holds a Lame on Arc. It's just really boring to me. So hopefully this change helps that. I think most of that comes from Lame on Arc being annoying, not necessarily Oath Keepers themselves, but you know, they kind of go hand in hand at the same time. So there's that. Raiju's Harness. So when deactivating your Arc Staff Super, you create a blinding explosion that temporarily increases your Arc weapon damage. However, blocking with Whirlwind Guard no longer consumes energy more slowly. So I kind of wanted to only talk about this because people basically would just switch to this in trials all the time. Obviously, you can't do that anymore because the energy would just be gone. But now I feel like you've kind of made this exotic completely useless in total, because I feel like the main reason why people were using this was for the Whirlwind Guard, and just keep the super for super long periods of time. The blinding explosion doesn't really do anything for you in PvP. I have blinded people. I've been blinded by shoulder charge. It doesn't really matter. If your cursor is already near them, you're gonna probably hit them for something, and then auto aim for the melee is gonna hit them as well. So that's pretty useless. And honestly, the increase to arc damage doesn't do much for either way, because I can't really think of anything besides Ikelos, maybe Cantata, and Matador that would be worth using for arc weapons. Maybe with something like this, it'll increase some shit, but we'll see. Now here's the big juice, and the last one for hunters: Stompies. It removes the airborne effectiveness penalties. We're gonna stop right there, because that's really good. A big problem with Stompies is they added that in-air accuracy thing, which was, in my opinion, pretty backwards thinking, because you're jumping around. That's how Stompies work. You get increased jump, speed, and slide. Like, I feel like maybe you should get even some bonuses to in-air accuracy. I don't know. That's just my opinion. And then here's the absolute bullshit of it all. You only gain increased speed, slide distance, and improved jumping while your dodge energy is full. Terrible decision. If you're a hunter, you're going to almost never have your dodge. When you get your dodge, you're going to use it really quickly. So this instantly makes Stompies just absolutely terrible. You're almost never going to get this increase unless you have your dodge. That's just ridiculous. It's very backwards thinking, in my opinion. It makes no sense to do that. The only thing I could think of that would make sense is if you only did this for like jumping or something like that. Because when you think of movement exotics like Dune Marchers, you already get increased speed and slide. Same thing with Transversives. Just make the improved jumping part with the dodge. I think that would just make perfect sense, but clearly Bungie doesn't think so. Another thing that I think is interesting is how they think that Stompies is too difficult to track on controller for PvP. I think that's total bullshit. I've never heard a single PvP player say they can't track a Stompies hunter who's on mouse and keyboard, or just Stompies players in general. I mean, maybe they're out there, and if they are, that's great for you. But I've personally never had a problem or heard of any of my controller friends have problems like, oh my god, a Stompies hunter, I can't track him. You know what I mean? So I don't know. And it also is kind of counterintuitive because they literally just added an exotic into the game with Lightfall that the whole point is dodging, and then you get 100 in-air accuracy. So like, that just makes no sense to me. They're going to be, in my opinion, probably harder to track versus a Stompies hunter. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it's not going to be as bad as I think it is, but to me, that's pretty ridiculous. That's pretty much it from there, though. As for Titans, I want to talk about no backup plans because they're completely reworking them and replacing the old functionality entirely. Now provides a moderate benefit to the in-air accuracy and reload speed of shotguns. This does nothing. Shotguns don't need in-air accuracy bonuses. It just doesn't matter. And yeah, the reload speed is nice, I guess. But again, that's like so not needed. If you use things like holsters, which for me personally, I'll use shotgun holsters or just holsters for my shotgun all the time. So I don't really think that's anywhere needed or super useful at all. While you have Avoid Overshield, shotguns deal additional damage in shotgun final blows, refresh your overshield. While using Avoid subclass, rapid shoddy final blows or defeating a powerful enemy with a shoddy grants you Avoid Overshield and kicks off your health regen. This could be interesting for like things like sixes. In threes, you're probably not going to get a benefit out of this, but it really depends on what is considered a powerful enemy, because if a guardian is considered a powerful enemy, which I'm pretty sure most of the time it is, then that could be pretty nice. Like just getting a free overshield. It'd almost be like the shotgun one-eyed mask. So it's interesting to see how that works in the future. I really don't think there's anything else to talk about there except for Dune Marchers. This I think is a huge bonus for me. I don't like playing against Dune Marchers, so this is really nice. So reduces the range of the chain damage from 20 meters to 12 meters and PvP damage from 85 to 50. So 20 to 12 I think is very reasonable. You can still shoddy ape with this. Like 12 meters is nothing to scoff at, and people holding hands like that are still going to get hurt, which I think Dune Marchers was best for those situations anyway. It was just really annoying getting hit from people that I was nowhere near, just because Dune Marchers had such a huge radius. In the damage from 85 to 50, it's pretty substantial, to be honest, but 85 I think was a little bit too much, and 50 might be a little bit too little. I think it'll be interesting to see, though, with somebody with somewhat high resilience, like let's say 200 health base, you're looking at about a fourth of their health bar just from hitting somebody with Dune Marchers. So that's not too bad either. We'll see how this plays out. Is this going to kill Dune Marchers? Absolutely not. I still think Dune Marchers are going to be really good. But me personally, I'm going to be using One-Eye Mask anyway. So that's pretty much it when it comes to them. Warlocks don't have anything too crazy. I think the big ones are Chromatic Fire and Ophidian aspects. So Chromatic Fire, it increases the radius of damage of the explosion created by the precision hit, or the precision takedown, I should say. And the explosion also applies a status effect to targets depending damaged by it, depending on which subclass you have equipped. I think the most powerful ones here are going to be Arc and Stasis. Here's the thing, like, would I use Chromatic in like freeze? Probably not. I don't think you're going to get a huge benefit out of this. Maybe you will, but in my opinion, for sixes, this could be a lot of fun, because there's a lot of fun builds that you can use with Chromatic Fire, with like pulse rifles and scout rifles. A lot of fun shit you can do. I think the blind will be really nice for people who clump together, and honestly, the same thing with the slow. Is this going to be meta? Absolutely fucking not. No way, but I think it'll be fun regardless. And then, like I said earlier, the other and the last one I really wanted to talk about was Ophidians. We can also talk about Starfire Protocol too, because I think they absolutely butchered it. But Ophidian aspects, they remove the extended melee range. This is kind of like a double-edged sword for me, because I think on one hand, this is great because the Ophidian melee range was absolutely ridiculous. You could clip people through walls. It was really buggy sometimes, as they even say, like the flicker and high latency scenarios. Like, it was kind of ridiculous. And honestly, like, the Ophidians extended melee range, I think on paper is fine. Maybe it was a little bit too much. So maybe they could have just reduced it down a little bit. But now for me, I feel like there's almost 0 points using Ophidians. Like, yeah, you get a good increase to in-air accuracy and you can swap your weapons. But like, honestly, I don't care enough about those. I'll just use quick charge, or not quick charge. I'll use quick axis sling on my weapons. And that pretty much does the same thing. Like, it's not as good. But I mean, and the thing with in-air accuracy, when I fight people, I tend to stay to the ground for most of the time. So I'm really not worried about that at all either. So in my opinion, this is also a butcher though too, because now that they've removed the extended melee range, there is no exotic for warlocks that reduces or that extends melee range. Titans have Synthoceps and Hunters have one too, but I don't remember what it's called. So forgive me, but they do have something that they can do with that. So yeah, honestly, if you want to give anything extended melee range, maybe give it to something like Winter's Guile or Karnstein's. I think Karnstein's ideally would be for me, because I actually like Karnstein's a lot. But I think they do need that anyway, because without it, they're the only class without that. So definitely should do that in the future. And then finally, just because it was there, and I think this is butchering the exotic, Starfire Protocol reduces the amount of energy gain per instance of damage from 20% to 2.5%. That's really ridiculous. You're kind of destroying it there. You should have at least halved it or maybe fourthed it if you want to be a little crazy. Because because now nobody's going to use this. And you know what? At the end of the day, nobody's going to care to use this anymore because they're just going to switch to sun bracers and the same thing's going to happen to them. So we'll see how it plays out, I guess, with that. But yeah, overall, pretty changes, pretty mixed bag in my opinion. For Hunter, they got absolutely railed with the Stompies, but it's not really going to matter now. People are just going to switch over to Dragon Shadow, and it's not even going to be a big deal. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Those are my thoughts, my opinions. Let me know what you guys think about all these changes as well. I'm interested to hear your feedback on this. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to read this article in full and get all the exotics. But like I said, I only talked about the ones that I think are really important for PvP. And then I guess I threw Starfire Protocol in there as well. But that's it, guys. Thank you all so very much for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one. See ya.